Welcome to my Class YouTube channel. Today I will share with you a bit about Grammarian Role. Grammarian is one of the scariest roles for some clubs because English may not be the mother tongue for many of us. So today let me share a bit about Grammarian and how you can do it for your online meeting. First of all, let me share with you. Grammarian is also known as the language evaluator. And what are the benefits that you can inform your club members and encourage them to take up this role is first, it can train their listening skills. It doesn't matter if your English is not perfect or not excellent, but you can always try this role to observe the good usage of English in the meeting. It also enhances your analytical and evaluation skills because you will try to take note of the good or poor usage of the English and try to provide recommendations for the speaker to improve. What you can do as a grammarian before the meeting is, first of all, you are in charge to introduce the word of the day, or some clubs, they use it throughout the week within their club conversation and meeting and so on. So this will help the participants to expand their vocabulary. What you need to do is, after you identify the word of the day or the week based on the theme that you have set, share with the club members what is the brief definition, perhaps provide some synonyms, also example of usage of their word in different forms. So how you can choose a suitable word, there's this article in the Toastmasters magazine that I will share the link at the end of this presentation. What that I understand is that try to use adjective or verbs because it's easier to use in a sentence. If you use noun, it's slightly harder, or it's a limited context that you can use it when you are speaking. So one suggestion, if you are not really sure of what kind of word to use, or if you don't have a team, you can always go to this website called www.dictionary.com, where it has a word of the day every day. Even you don't have a Toastmasters or meeting or so on, I would suggest you to subscribe to this this website, okay, to learn and expand your vocabulary by learning a word a day. And in 1 year time, you know and learn 365 words. That's amazing, right? Try out on that. Of course, you will need to get a Grammarian script or log, also downloadable from the Toastmasters website to record your findings. And this is also optional for your club. It depends on whether is it the grammarian who prepares it or maybe your club Zoom master to do it. So have a Zoom virtual background with the word displayed largely behind your background. And this can remind the online audience to use the word of the day in their speech. Later, I will show you some sample. During the meeting, when the Toastmaster of the day or even the host of the meeting asks you to introduce yourself and the role, you can read it out. What is the role of the grammarian, which is to monitor the English usage throughout the meeting, as well as to introduce the word of the day. And normally, for our clubs in Malaysia, we will write down the word of the day and also the meaning in the agenda itself. Next, during the meeting when it's ongoing online, you can encourage them to use the word of the day in their speeches, either by the virtual background that I mentioned just now, or you can type out in the chat box, hey, I realized that no one is using the word of the day, so why not try to use it as much as possible, but of course, correctly. So you can encourage participants to show thumbs up whenever a speaker uses that word of the day, to show encouragement and make more fun. So throughout the meeting, when the speakers are speaking, note down any excellent usage of the language. You can write down the entire phrase, or maybe sometimes it's a quote by certain people, or whatever quote that is inspirational or you think it's very extraordinary and you want to share it in your report later, do note down. And of course, if you have noticed any incomplete sentences, mispronunciations, or any grammatical mistakes, subject-verb agreements, and so on, you can also note that down. And there's one thing over here, it's called non-sequiturs. What I've noticed is that it means a statement that does not logically follow from the previous argument. Sometimes, especially during table topics, when our thoughts are not so organized, or maybe the speaker not really sure how to express himself, they may have such problem. What they say may not be logical compared to the previous point. So you can just share whatever your recommendations are. Example over here, 1 in 5 children wear glasses, should be 1 in 5 children wears glasses. So sometimes it's also due to the enunciation or pronunciation of the speaker themselves, whether you can really note down this S or not. And of course, at the end of the meeting, you will give your report. I would say present it. Either you can do it verbally, which means that you read out whatever that you have written down, or you can do it in the slides, like what I'm doing right now, presentation slides format if you want. Later, I can show you a sample on how I do it online. It's visually more appealing. And not only that, everyone in the meeting can actually see and understand what you are trying to share through your grammarian report. Because sometimes when you read it out, especially sometimes my pronunciation may not be perfect, people might not get or understand what I have suggested. So maybe presentation slides is one of the best way to really show them what that you have captured throughout the meeting. And they can just print screen those excellent usage and keep for their record as a learning record. So these are the examples that I want to show you. In the dictionary.com website, you can see that once you go to the main page, there is a word of the day where you can click in to see the definitions and examples. And you can click this, what I call that, the speaker button, to hear how it's pronounced. Certain words there is American pronunciation or British pronunciation. So you can always explore that. Like for Malaysian, we use the British English. So sometimes the pronunciation of certain words may differ from the American English. And for myself, when I do the Grammarian Role, need to search for a word of the day, I'll just simply Google that word, adding the word definition or meaning. For example, this word accentuate, not sure whether I'm pronouncing it correctly. So you can directly get all the information that you want by Googling. You don't really need to go to certain dictionaries website. Yeah, because sometimes I find like Oxford Dictionary or Cambridge Dictionary website, the online website, some of the examples provided, it's quite difficult to understand. I'm not sure whether have you faced that. This word itself, you may not even have seen this word before. You don't understand at all. And when you go into the dictionary website, you found that, oh, I don't even understand the meaning of that word at all after reading the definition. So it may get quite confusing. What I realized over the years is that Google it directly in the Google main page. It's sufficient for us to understand the meaning of the word. If you think this is not sufficient, you can go to different dictionary to get more understanding, or maybe through the example usage, you can learn how to use it better. So sometimes we also provide the synonyms of the words so that people will learn from it as well. This is an example of the virtual background for Zoom. It's displayed quite big. I think it still can be bigger for this word for everyone to see it. And I also noticed some grammarian, they will log in another device to show this word purely, because sometimes the grammarian wants to appear on the screen, right, during the meeting. So you may not want to block the word if you use this background. So you can log in from another device for your consideration. And of course, if you just want to have one device and still have the word of the day, or even have this particular background for everyone in the meeting, you can also have this kind of design where it's just above the head of the participant. Everyone can see it. And this really works that day. This particular word is very popular in our meeting. So here is a sample of the grammarian slides. First, I will start with the club's name, and I will write my name over there. And just for fun, I'll just put a disclaimer. to say that this is just for learning and reference purposes. So some information may not be correct or it needs further validation. So feel free to Google or go to dictionaries to search for more information. So first of all, I would usually start my report from the word of the day. How many people use it? And I will just show it in a graphical format. Thumbs up. Okay, for example, you can show this if there are more people using it. And then I will start with the good usage. Always start with the sandwich method in Toastmasters, even in evaluation. So I will just mention the excellent English usage first. So you can just go one by one, and I will always mention the speaker's name whenever they say something amazing to encourage them to use it further in future. Acknowledge them. And this is the theme for the meeting that I attended previously. So I think this is a very inspirational quote that many people should remember. So I just put it here again to emphasize. For recommendations, I do it this way. The left side is what have been spoken, and the right side is recommendations to improve. So sometimes you may not be sure. I will always Google it up to find a better word to suggest, or maybe just to confirm my suggestions. Yeah, okay. These are some of my recommendations. Of course, you can also comment on pronunciation if you know how to do it, or maybe certain, word usage is wrong and so on, okay? And at the end of my report, I end with a quote as well to encourage them not only to take up the grammarian role, but then to relate back to the meeting team and be positive. I think that's very important for all the meetings. All in all, these are some of the references that I've gotten online, Toastmasters website, as well as some of the articles. For the Grammarian script and log, feel free to use the Toastmasters version. If not, you can use your own slides. Yeah, or if your club have one, you can also use that. And for me, I really love Google because I can find whatever information I want. I verify any things that I'm not so sure. So always try to research and explore. I think that will not only improve our language, that can help to improve the quality of our speech, but also it can add value to the meeting itself. Thank you very much for listening to my grammarian sharing. Hopefully, everyone will be staying safe and also sound at your home country right now. Thank you.